I've been very reluctant to talk about the details of my medical transition because who do you think you are buying this fancy condo? You're just a Black trans girl and you had an eviction notice 6 years ago.
And she, I hate to use that term, but she normalized, gender nonconformity and being different in that sense. Who clocked me at the playground and was just like, bitch, what are you trying to do here?
Trans women, trans people are special. Gay people are fucking special.
That's true.
Who the hell wants to blend in with society? Do you see the stupidity that's going on out here in the world?
Are you shocked to learn that the Black actress you've long admired is actually a transgender woman? In the dazzling glow of Hollywood, there are 11 Black actresses who have undergone gender transition, a fact you might not have known. They're not just radiant stars on the screen, but also silent warriors battling prejudice, becoming symbols of strength, resilience, and the desire to live authentically. They've helped reshape perspectives on gender, even sparking a quiet revolution. But few understand that behind the glamorous veneer of the red carpet, they've endured moments of collapse that seemed beyond repair. The stories I'm about to share will unveil the truth of their journeys. By the end of this video, you might find yourself rethinking the meaning of beauty, success, and courage. 11. Laverne Cox. The tragic journey of a Black trans woman who paved the way for others. Laverne Cox, a renowned name in American entertainment, left an indelible mark with her role as Sophia Bursette in the hit series Orange is the New Black, 2013-2019. This role earned her an Emmy nomination and opened doors to major projects like The Mindy Project, Inventing Anna, and Promising Young Woman. Yet behind the screen's glamour lies a journey filled with pain, relentless battles against discrimination, and a longing to reclaim her true self. Born in Mobile, Alabama, Cox realized her gender identity early on. But growing up in a small conservative town, she endured wounds that left lasting scars. As a child, Cox was often mocked by peers, labeled sissy, and faced violent bullying. One haunting memory is when she was locked in a bathroom by a group of kids and beaten, leaving both physical injuries and emotional scars that lingered for years. The pain didn't just come from the outside world. Her mother, a strong Black woman, couldn't accept that her son yearned to live as a woman. At age 10, simply for trying on her sister's dress, Cox was locked in her room, starved, and faced harsh rejection from her own family. That moment crystallized her sense of isolation and abandonment within the very home meant to be her sanctuary. From those early years, Cox grew to understand herself more deeply. She couldn't conform to the masculine mold society imposed. She only wanted to live authentically. But that path was fraught with obstacles. In 1998, Cox moved to New York to pursue acting and began her transition: hormone therapy, cosmetic surgeries, and a name change. The process was grueling. Hormones left her fatigued with severe side effects, muscle pain, mood swings, and even heart risks. Unable to afford specialized doctors, Cox resorted to buying hormones from shady sources. The result was a severe allergic reaction in 2000 that landed her in the hospital, an experience that forever haunted her with the fragility of life. Struggling to make ends meet while battling health issues, Cox clung to her dream. But the cutthroat entertainment industry was rarely kind to transgender people. She was repeatedly rejected simply for her identity. One director bluntly told her she wasn't feminine enough for a female role, plunging Cox into a crisis of identity and self-worth. Her pain deepened when a 3-year relationship ended in 2005. When Cox courageously shared her trans identity with her partner, he abruptly left her. The heartbreak drove her into depression, convincing her she was unworthy of love or a place in the world of relationships. The greatest tragedy struck on October 22, 2008, during her appearance on I Want to Work for Diddy. Producers pressured Cox to discuss her trans identity on camera, leaving her feeling violated. The fear that her career would collapse and she'd be ostracized consumed her. Sleepless nights and relentless nightmares nearly drowned her in despair. Yet Laverne Cox refused to break. She rose above every adversity to affirm her worth. Beyond being a silver screen star, Cox became an icon of freedom, a powerful voice for the trans community in entertainment, paving a brighter path for future generations. 10. Dominique Jackson. Escaping a nightmare of isolation to become a trailblazing flame for the trans community. Dominique Jackson, widely known for her role as Electra Abundance in Pose, captivated audiences with her emotive acting. She also left her mark in American Horror Stories and Strut. Born in Tobago, Dominique was a pioneer in the ballroom community and a symbol of grit and resilience. But behind the stage lights lies a tragic story piled high with pain and hardship. From a young age, Dominique knew her gender identity. But in Tobago, where she grew up, that was deemed unacceptable. At 15, when she began wearing dresses and makeup to express her femininity, her conservative father branded her a family disgrace and kicked her out in 1985. With no support, Dominique wandered, surviving on park benches or crashing at friends' homes. Hunger and deprivation became her norm, but instead of giving up, she chose to seek acceptance in New York, a place where she hoped to live as her true self. Upon arriving in the U.S., Dominique began her transition. She used hormones and altered her appearance, but the journey was far from easy. Without legal papers or financial stability, she turned to the black market for hormones, putting her health at serious risk. During a performance in August 1997, she collapsed from side effects, suffering intense abdominal pain and hormonal imbalances. From then on, danger loomed as a constant shadow in her life. Beyond physical struggles, Dominique faced societal prejudice and legal injustices. On November 14, 1999, she was arrested while walking in a short dress, mistaken by police for a prostitute posing as a woman. She was detained overnight in a men's jail, enduring insults and threats from other inmates, an experience that deepened her sense of isolation and societal rejection. It left her questioning the fairness she once believed in. These relentless blows pushed Dominique into an identity crisis. She often wondered if she should abandon her truth and live as a man to end the suffering. Sleepless nights, fears for her safety, and questions about living authentically nearly consumed her. In a moment of despair in February 2000, she cut off her cherished long hair as a way to escape her trapped thoughts. Her personal life brought further bitterness. On April 18, 2010, Dominique married a man, but the happiness was short-lived. 2 years later, on March 20, 2012, he left her, unable to handle societal pressure for being with a trans woman. The betrayal left Dominique with profound loneliness and disillusionment. In 2015, she returned to Tobago, hoping to reconnect with her family after years apart. But her mother coldly rejected her, saying she was no longer her son. Those words left Dominique sobbing through the night, unsure how to keep embracing herself in such a harsh world. Yet, with every pain and challenge, Dominique Jackson pushed forward to affirm her worth. Beyond a screen star, she became an icon of strength and perseverance, a black trans woman standing tall in a challenging, prejudiced entertainment industry. 9. T.S. Madison, the trans warrior who tore through prejudice to shine. T.S. Madison, a standout actress, host, and entrepreneur, is an essential name in the LGBT+ community and entertainment industry. With impactful roles in Zola, 2020, and the T.S. Madison Experience, 2021, she's built a solid brand. But behind the stage lights lies a journey steeped in tragedy. When Madison began her transition in the early 2000s in Miami, Florida, she faced a harsh reality: no empathy from the community she was born into. Growing up in a prejudiced environment, she was shunned by family, friends, and even her church, once her spiritual anchor. During a service, a pastor publicly condemned her as a sinner and expelled her in front of the congregation. The emotional wound lingered for years, as the church wasn't just a place of worship, but a community and a source of faith. Now, all shattered. Beyond emotional pain, Madison grappled with financial hardship. As a trans woman, job opportunities were scarce, forcing her into the adult entertainment industry to survive. The income funded hormone therapy, surgeries, and transition costs, but it came with crushing economic pressure. In 2005, Madison saved enough for gender-affirming surgery, but the procedure went awry. A severe infection left her hospitalized for 2 weeks, enduring physical pain and the fear she might never walk normally again. Still, Madison pressed on. Every step was a battle, but she kept chasing her dream. Social challenges hit just as hard. As her online fame grew, Madison faced a wave of public hate, derogatory comments about her trans identity, and even anonymous death threats. The threats forced her to lock her accounts, living in fear for months. Even someone as strong as Madison couldn't escape psychological turmoil. In her personal life, Madison endured a 4-year relationship that crumbled in 2011. Her partner initially accepted her, but when his family intervened, he left, unable to bear societal pressure. The blow plunged Madison into deep depression, leading her to attempt to end her life in 2011. Thankfully, friends intervened in time, but the pain lingered. Despite it all, T.S. Madison rose above adversity to become an icon of resilience. She not only paved the way for trans people in entertainment, but also became a living testament to the power of living authentically, no matter the cost. 8. Haley Sahar, betrayed by family in the shadow of prejudice. Haley Sahar shines as a star in the trans community, best known for her role as Lulu Abundance in Pose, alongside appearances in Mr. Robot and Good Trouble. She's not just a talented actress, but a symbol of resilience, standing firm in a prejudiced world. Yet behind the glamour lies a transition journey filled with pain and indelible scars. From her school days, Haley recognized her gender identity. But that truth wasn't embraced by her family or community, especially since her father was a conservative pastor. Growing up in Los Angeles, she faced discrimination not just from peers and society, but within her own home. At 16, when she began expressing her femininity, her father forced her into conversion prayer sessions. She became a mistake in her family's eyes, a rejection no child could easily bear. At 17, with no other path, Haley left home and joined the Los Angeles ballroom community, hoping to find a new family where she could be herself. But even ballroom wasn't all roses. In 2009, during a competition, she was unfairly eliminated due to clear bias. That moment cut deep, as the community she saw as a second family turned its back, leaving her feeling sidelined from the world. Her medical journey was equally arduous. Without insurance or access to safe health care, Haley relied on sketchy hormone sources. Once, a severe allergic reaction landed her in the hospital. The experience forced her to confront a brutal question. Could she and her body endure this journey? The struggle wasn't just physical. Her desire to maintain a feminine appearance pulled her into a costly cycle of cosmetic surgeries. But instead of relief, it brought more pain. A severe complication from lip fillers in 2008 required multiple corrective surgeries. The physical wounds healed, but the mental scars lingered. In her personal life, Haley faced heartbreak. A 4-year relationship with a dancer ended in 2012 when he couldn't face his family about loving a trans woman. His words, "You're not a real woman," stabbed her heart, leaving a deep crack that shook her faith in love. For years, she closed herself off from new relationships. But despite every fall, Haley Sahar refused to be defeated. She became an icon of perseverance, daring to live authentically and inspiring countless others struggling with their identity. Her past wounds only fueled her journey to become a star, a woman igniting hope for her community. 7. Angelica Ross, a star shining brightly through authentic living. Angelica Ross left her mark not only with roles like Candy Ferocity in Pose and Donna Chambers in American Horror Story, but also as a resilient icon of the trans community. Yet behind her success lies a challenging journey where she battled the entertainment industry, society, and her own family. Growing up in Wisconsin, Angelica knew she was different from her peers. Her childhood was far from serene. At 17, when she dared to wear women's clothing to express her gender identity, her conservative ex-military father reacted violently. He beat her and kicked her out, calling her a family failure. The image of being abandoned by the home meant to protect her became an enduring wound. With nowhere to turn, Angelica relied on friends' homes for months, grappling with the threat of homelessness and constant deprivation. But that was just the tip of the iceberg. In her early transition years, Angelica faced not only isolation, but also a psychological darkness that loomed large. Depression consumed her, eroding her faith and hope for the future. In 2000, in a moment of despair, she overdosed on sedatives unconsciously. Fortunately, a friend found her in time and urged her to find her light again. Determined to change, she pursued legal name and gender changes in 2002. But in Florida, court staff flatly rejected her application because she was trans. Their cold words, "We don't work with people like you," struck her dignity like a slap. To complete the process, Angelica had to borrow money for a lawyer, adding financial and emotional burdens. The struggles didn't end there. To fund her transition, Angelica worked in the adult entertainment industry, a risky environment rife with violence and abuse. In 2003, a client held a knife to her throat for refusing an outrageous demand. The terror haunted her for months, manifesting in recurring nightmares. As she entered acting, Angelica faced further oppression. She was often asked to hide her trans identity to be more acceptable. It felt like being a puppet, forced to live inauthentically in an industry that rejected her truth. During one audition, a director demanded she undress on camera to inspect her body because of her trans identity. Humiliated and violated, Angelica broke down and left, vowing never to let herself be degraded again. Despite every barrier, Angelica Ross never gave up. From family betrayal to career setbacks, she stood firm in her journey to live authentically. She not only found her own light, but became an inspiration for countless others yearning to be themselves. 6. Precious Ebony. Carrying bloody scars of prejudice to raise the Establishment flag of freedom, Precious Ebony is a standout star in the LGBTQ+ community and a symbol of resilience. Known as a talented singer, actress, and tireless advocate for trans rights, her achievements didn't come easily. Her journey was a grueling one, battling loneliness, discrimination, and physical pain. Raised in a devout family in Atlanta, Georgia, Precious recognized her gender identity early on. As a teenager, when she began expressing her femininity, her family rejected her and reported her to their church. In 1999, the pastor, where Precious once sang in the choir, publicly branded her a betrayer of faith. The family and community she once relied on turned their backs, leaving her feeling lost and excluded from the safest spaces. She left her family, embarking on a journey to stand on her own. In 2001, during a performance at an Atlanta bar, societal prejudice erupted violently. A group of drunken patrons threw beer bottles at the stage, injuring Precious's head and requiring 5 stitches. The scar wasn't just physical, it etched fear into her psyche, making every performance a battle against anxiety. Her transition brought financial and medical struggles. Without insurance, she performed as a freelance singer in bars, barely earning enough for hormone therapy. In August 2002, a shady clinic scammed her with fake hormones, causing severe headaches and high blood pressure. Pausing her treatment brought physical pain and deepened her fears. Could her transition ever be safe? The art world offered no reprieve. Her singing and acting talents were dismissed because of her trans identity. In 2004, she was cut from an independent film after the producer learned the truth, claiming audiences wouldn't accept her. Lost opportunities left her feeling excluded from the field she loved. Her personal relationships, hoped to be a refuge, brought more pain. A 3-year romance with an Atlanta artist ended in 2005 when his family deemed her abnormal. The betrayal left Precious in a year-long void of depression and loneliness. The mounting pressure drove her into a psychological crisis. Comparing herself to harsh beauty standards led to self-doubt and alcohol abuse. On September 12, 2003, she was hospitalized for alcohol poisoning. In that moment, she thought she couldn't go on. But amidst despair, Precious chose to rise, determined to prove she was worthy of love and acceptance. Precious Ebony never gave up. She pressed on in her art and advocacy, turning past wounds into fuel for strength, not just for herself, but to inspire others fighting to live authentically. 5. Janet Mock, A Cruel Family Curse in the Dark of Prejudice. Janet Mock, a screenwriter and TV producer, became an icon in the trans community, particularly through her work on Pose and her contributions to ballroom culture's diversity. Yet few know the challenging journey behind her success, marked by violence, betrayal, and lingering emotional wounds. As a teenager in Honolulu, Mock recognized her gender identity early. But instead of protection and love, she faced harsh blows. At school, she was mocked and bullied for her femininity. Slurs like faggot haunted her daily, accompanied by physical assaults. In late March 1995, at 14, a group of older students locked her in a gym and pelted her with basketballs, leaving her bruised. School became a battlefield. At 16, as she embraced her female identity more openly, her family, especially her father, refused to accept her. When Mock wore a favorite dress, her father tore it apart and threatened to send her to a reform camp. She fought back, arguing and pleading, but he cursed her, saying she'd never find happiness because of her difference. The rejection from her family suffocated her, leading her to leave home in 1997, relying on friends and facing profound loneliness. Determined to live authentically, Mock began her transition. In June 2001, she traveled to Thailand for gender-affirming surgery. The lower cost came with risks, and unsafe conditions led to complications. She spent 10 days in the hospital, enduring relentless pain and the fear of losing mobility. Yet she pressed on, carrying both physical and emotional scars. To fund her transition, Mock worked part-time in the adult entertainment industry, a dangerous world with no other options. When she moved to New York to pursue writing, prejudice persisted. In February 2004, an editor rejected her work, claiming her ideas didn't suit mainstream readers. Such rejections made her feel her worth was denied, despite her daily fight to live authentically. Even in her personal life, Mock faced pain. She married photographer Aaron Treadwell on November 20th, 2015, but the marriage lasted only 4 years, ending on March 15th, 2019, partly due to societal pressures and prejudice against her trans identity. The divorce left her believing true love might elude her. Her deepest pain came in August 2005, when she returned to Hawaii, hoping to reconcile with her father. Despite tempered expectations, she longed for his acceptance. Instead, he refused to meet her, shouting from inside that he'd lost his son 8 years earlier when she left. Those words broke her, leaving her sobbing and feeling utterly lost. Yet, Janet Mock didn't surrender. She overcame pain to build a career, establish her place, and become a powerful voice for the trans community. Her journey proves that, despite life's countless challenges, one can rise, fight, and triumph. 4. Amia Scott, Memories of Brutal Family Whips Ignite a Blazing Flame. Amid Prejudice. Amia Scott, a renowned model and actress known for roles in Star and Legendary, is an icon of the trans community. Yet few know that behind her dazzling career lies a journey of hardship, facing family violence, societal prejudice, and unforgettable pain. As a teenager in New Orleans, Scott recognized her gender identity. But instead of understanding, she faced rejection from her family. At 15, when she tried makeup and a dress, her conservative mother not only slapped her, but locked her in the house for a month, calling her a disgrace. Feeling imprisoned in what was once a safe home drove Scott to run away, wandering the streets to escape abuse and loneliness. But that was just the start of darker days. With meager earnings from odd jobs, Scott couldn't afford proper health care and resorted to unsafe hormone sources. The consequences were dire. In March 2006, she was hospitalized for temporary kidney failure due to swelling and joint pain. Battling physical pain and fearing for her health, Scott refused to give up. The Atlanta ballroom community offered solace, a place to express herself without judgment. But even there, acceptance wasn't complete. She was once disqualified from a competition for being not feminine enough. The rejection from those she saw as family made her question if she'd ever be fully recognized in her true form. Her modeling career faced barriers too. Despite striking beauty, she was rejected by ad agencies for being trans. One company even canceled a contract after a shoot, saying they didn't want to be associated with someone like her. The harsh rejections wounded her pride and shook her confidence. The pressure to meet beauty standards led to an eating disorder in September 2007. Starving herself to stay slim left her debilitated, requiring 3 months of hospital treatment. The feeling of never being beautiful or perfect enough trapped her in a cycle of self-doubt and torment. Her personal life brought more bitterness. In February 2012, Scott began dating an Atlanta rapper, hoping for a stable bond. But when his career faced backlash for their relationship, he publicly used her dead name and denied their love online. The betrayal left her humiliated and deeply hurt, plunging her into loneliness and despair, believing true love might never come. Despite countless pains and heartaches, Amia Scott never gave up. She fought to affirm her worth, becoming a prominent model and actress. Her past wounds, though never fully healed, fueled her drive to inspire others struggling in the shadows. 3. Cece McDonald, Living Authentically Under the Sword of Prison. Injustice. Cece McDonald, an activist and actress in the documentary Free Cece, 2016, became an icon in the fight against injustice and prejudice. But behind her spotlight lies a journey of survival, battered by violence, rejection, and unfair convictions. Growing up in Minneapolis, Minnesota, Cece knew her gender identity early on. Instead of love, she faced cruel rejection from her family. At 16, when she began expressing her female identity, her closest brother turned away, calling her sick. The shock stripped away her only family support, turning a life once filled with love into emptiness. School offered no escape from prejudice. Despite her requests, teachers and staff used her dead name and wrong pronouns. In mid-November 2005, unable to tolerate a teacher's insults, she spoke out and was indefinitely suspended. She lost not just her education, but the basic right to live as herself. As an adult, society's harshness only grew. The tragedy began on June 5, 2011, when Cece was attacked by a transphobic group near a bar. They stabbed her face, requiring 11 stitches. Though acting in self-defense, she was charged with manslaughter. Instead of protecting the victim, the legal system thrust her into an unjust spiral. A 41-month sentence confined her to a men's prison where she endured insults, threats, and violence from inmates. The pain is nearly indescribable. Her time in prison left deep psychological scars. After her release on January 13, 2014, Cece suffered from PTSD, triggered by loud noises and requiring therapy to ease her trauma. Financial struggles followed. As a low-income Black trans woman, she couldn't access proper health care. In April 2009, a clinic refused hormone treatment due to her lack of insurance. Desperate, she turned to black market hormones, causing severe chest pain and dizziness, compounding her fears for the future. Her romantic life was equally bitter. Before her arrest, she loved a man who left her after her sentencing on August 4, 2011, unable to face public scrutiny. The abandonment crushed her during her darkest days. The pain multiplied when she received a letter from her long-silent mother praying for Cece to return to normal. Those words shattered her heart as her family still refused to accept her. Yet that letter ignited a new fire. Cece realized she couldn't let tragedy destroy her. She rose to fight harder for trans rights. Cece McDonald's life isn't just about pain, it's a testament to resilience and courage. After every challenge, she survived, becoming a beacon of hope, fueling the fight for the LGBTQ+ community. 2. MJ Rodriguez. Overcoming the whips of prejudice to become a radiant moon in Hollywood's sky. MJ Rodriguez is not only a talented actress, but an icon of resilience and sacrifice. Her role as Blanca Evangelista in Pose 2018-2021 proved a trans woman could break barriers to reach the top. Her name became an unforgettable milestone, earning an Emmy nomination and a Golden Globe win for Best Actress in a drama series on January 9, 2022. But behind the dazzling lights lies a story steeped in tragedy and relentless battles. Growing up in Newark, New Jersey, Rodriguez knew her gender identity early, but her childhood was shadowed by nightmares. Taunts and scornful looks from peers left her feeling alienated. At 13, she was pushed downstairs by classmates, injuring her wrist and forcing her to leave school out of fear. She learned a harsh truth. Society wasn't ready to accept her true self. The pain cut deeper from her family. Raised in a conservative African Puerto Rican household, Rodriguez faced fierce opposition from her mother, who feared transitioning would endanger her life. At 15, when she began wearing women's clothing, her mother confiscated them and banned her from leaving home. Feeling trapped and stripped of her right to authenticity suffocated her, yet it fueled her fight. On March 10, 2008, at 17, Rodriguez secretly began hormone therapy, hiding from her mother's control and using savings from odd jobs. The side effects, chest pain, mood swings, and fear of the future, tormented her. In November, during choir practice, she fainted from hormonal imbalances. Her health and psyche were under siege in a lonely battle. The entertainment industry shut its doors to a trans woman like her. Starting her acting and singing career, Rodriguez juggled retail jobs to afford therapy and hormones. But prejudice blocked her path. In July 2009, a company canceled her contract due to her identity, and a casting director rejected her as not attractive enough for a lead role. The harsh words made her feel wholly dismissed. Still, Rodriguez refused to yield. She turned pain into drive, fighting to claim her place and amplify the trans community's voice. From wounds and losses, she rose as an icon of resilience. Each step in entertainment was a personal victory and a hope for her community. Through perseverance and authenticity, MJ Rodriguez proved that no matter how harsh the world, living true to oneself ultimately triumphs. 1. India Moore, from a homeless night to a dazzling stage. Dispelling cruel prejudice. India Moore is not just a talented model and actress, but a living testament to strength and resilience. Her role as Angel Evangelista in Pose 2018-2021 made history, earning love and admiration from the LGBTQ+ community and art lovers alike. But behind the radiant lights lies a tear-soaked story of a young person fighting tirelessly to live authentically. India's childhood in the Bronx, New York, was shadowed early on. At 14, when she began presenting as a girl, her conservative parents rejected her, calling her a failure and kicking her out. She drifted through shelters, sometimes sleeping in parks, gripped by fear as groups of thugs mocked her. In late August 2005, she was brutally attacked, leaving her with a shoulder injury and lasting psychological scars. The sense of abandonment pushed India into a crisis, but she refused to break. Her journey was a battle not just against hateful stares, but with her own body. Without insurance, she bought black market hormones, leading to severe abdominal pain and irregular cycles. In July 2012, she nearly died from hormone poisoning, a stark reminder of the cost of living her truth. Entering the arts, India faced further cruelty. In modeling, fashion companies rejected her for being a black trans woman. One even canceled a contract before a shoot, claiming clients weren't ready for a black trans model. The rejection fueled her struggle with appearance. To meet unrealistic standards, she starved herself, leading to malnutrition and hospitalization in February 2014. Her love life was turbulent too. A 3-year relationship with a photographer ended painfully in 2017 when he left under family pressure, saying she couldn't bear children. The blow sealed her heart, leaving lingering fears and insecurities for years. The emotional toll drove her into depression. In early September 2013, unable to cope, India stood on a small Bronx bridge with the worst intentions. Thankfully, a passerby stopped her. That near-death experience became a turning point, spurring her to live not just for herself, but for others marginalized by society. India Moore is more than a model or actress. She's a pioneer, a proud voice for the LGBTQ+ community. Her journey proves the extraordinary power of facing adversity to affirm one's worth. Despite lingering prejudice, India rose with unyielding pride and resilience. We've uncovered a deeply hidden part of the lives of these black trans actresses. They're courageous role models who overcame prejudice to prove nothing can stop us from living authentically. If their stories have left you reflecting, don't hesitate to share your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications to catch every video on our channel, where the light of truth shines on Hollywood's hidden corners.